More DC characters are introduced, Lex Luthor continues to rise in power, and General Zod is on the way. Episode 4 of My Adventures with Superman is out, so let's talk about it and then make some predictions for Episode 5. Spoilers ahead. Episode 4 was basically the type of episode that was setting up for the future. It brought the typical goodness by introducing more iconic DC characters such as Winslow Schott, aka the Toyman, and General Eiling, who only makes a quick appearance, but it was still cool. I can definitely see these two appearing later on in the series in much larger roles, especially General Eiling, who sides with Lex Luthor at the end of this episode. The main setup of this episode though was the big reveal of Lex Luthor at the Star Labs Symposium. But before we get into that, welcome to the Crop Top Critic. I'm Alex and I love everything movies, TV, and geeky related. And I want you to love that stuff too. So if you're enjoying this video, you're getting value out of it, Superman punch the like button, and then subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. So the remarkable thing about the Lex Luthor portion of this episode was how much it accomplishes in terms of storytelling. Lex Luthor is now out in the public as the answer to the threat of Superman. Much like his comic self, Lex is convincing people not to put their faith in Superman, but instead they should put their faith in humanity, or what he really means is put their faith in Lex Luthor. And now he has the support of Star Labs, the government, nearly all the citizens of Metropolis, and I love how on brand this version of Lex Luthor is. Another thing that this Lex Luthor arc accomplishes is creating or at least teasing a break in the friendship between Jimmy Olsen and Superman. That's a whole other storyline that hasn't been explored in this series yet. And not that I don't love their friendship, BFFs forever, but gosh darn, drama is so fun sometimes. And finally, this Lex Luthor arc continues to progress the main storyline by causing Superman to feel more isolated, and in his loneliness he reaches out to his cousin Kara, and guess who got the message? General freaking Zod. But before I get into that, I just gotta say how much I love what this show is doing with Lex Luthor, and I love how this episode set up new characters, new storylines, and how it progresses the main story. It's just so well done. Okay, so the episode ends with General Zod flying over Earth right after Superman sends out the message to his cousin Kara. Now, I'm not confirming that Kara is General Zod, but I'm saying that it's a bit of a coincidence for General Zod to appear right after the message was sent. But I have some predictions about that for later, so stay tuned till the end of the video. In terms of cons for this episode, my issue was with the second half of it, because the Lex Luthor portion was delicious, I love it, but the other portion revolved around Lois Lane and General Lane, and I decided that I don't care for General Lane. I'm sorry, he's an uninteresting character to me. I didn't care about him in the comics, I didn't care for him in Smallville, and I don't care about him now. If it wasn't for Lois Lane, I'd be completely zoned out of the episode. But at least he runs away at the end of the episode, so we won't see him for a while. And of course this is sad for Lois Lane, she doesn't deserve to be abandoned by a parent, but for me as the viewer, I'm happy with it. Get that third string character out of here. Alright, now before I give you my final rating of episode 4, let's discuss some predictions that I have for episode 5. The next episode is titled Most Eligible Superman, and the summary goes as follows. Lois and Clark's relationship comes to the breaking point when Superman receives the title Metropolis's Most Eligible Bachelor, while Jimmy gives a girl a tour of the city, a girl who's on a mission to find her long-lost cousin. Ooh, okay, we got a doozy here. Alright, here's what I think's about to happen. Lois is not going to be happy with her dad leaving her, and her anger is only going to get amplified and displaced onto Clark because of the whole Superman being the most eligible bachelor thing. And then she's going to get even angrier once Clark tells her that he reached out to her cousin, causing her to leave Metropolis and accept the job at the Gotham Gazette, where she'll eventually meet Batman. Okay, that last part is a bit of a long shot, but a guy can hope. Now in the second part of the summary, Jimmy definitely meets Kara Zor-El. First off, I'm totally shipping them. There will be a couple, they will be adorable, and we will love them. But I'm still pretty sure that Kara is General Zod, and I think she's there to try to convince Superman to help her take over Earth. I don't think, however, that Kara is in complete control of herself. I think it's more like Brainiac is controlling her mind, or it's like a Get Out situation and General Zod's consciousness is in her head. Whatever the situation, Kara is definitely going to be a problem before she becomes a hero. But what do you think will happen in episode 5? Overall, episode 4 of My Adventures with Superman was not the best that we got so far this season. The focus on General Lane was what brought it down for me. I don't care for that man. There's a ton more interesting Superman characters to portray, like Lex Luthor. His portion of the episode was freaking awesome, and I cannot wait to see what he does next, because he's becoming an absolute menace. With that being said, episode 4 is getting a 3.5 out of 5 crop tops. It's on the cusp of greatness. But what did you think of episode 4 of My Adventures with Superman? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, click on the boxes right here, and I'll see you in a bit.